Yeah, I'm working on Delrin washers. They go with the urethane upper control arm bushing kits. And I do end up having to do a tool change in here. I just couldn't figure out. I got it to do the cutting with the boring bar, with the parting tool, but it just doesn't. It doesn't come out as nice. Anyway, with the one tool change, they're coming out really nice. So I just did a couple other changes, so we'll see whether or not how this works. Nice. Okay. That's what I was having issues with, was the garbage, the chips piling up, wrapping around there. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It'll do it on this one still, but I don't care, and you'll see why. I don't really care about that. I'm just going to hit cycle start again and do the boring. So now that they're separated, it's real easy to go in and pull off all the chips that have piled up around it there. So that's why I didn't bother to try to do it before doing the boring operation. We'll go get rid of the big burr there. That's pretty easy. Hopefully this will show up. The filming in the white Delrin is a nightmare. It just doesn't have contrast. And this is by far the best chamfer tool I've found for doing these. I probably won't know until I load this up into the computer whether or not you can see any of that, but you can see the nice chamfer on both sides there, and I used to have a lot of trouble with burrs on both sides there, and the way I'm doing it now, I got rid of that. And chamfering the hole with that one there, it's just cutting the chip out. And what I'm not sure shows up is one side's always lopsided. There's a big chamfer there and a small chamfer here because it's rocking around, so it doesn't affect operation, anything like that. So I may not worry about it. The only other thing I was having some trouble with was the first two in the stack of four, because of everything's so kind of flexible at that point. It was moving out of the way of the boring bar and leaving the, and it still is, leaving the ID too tight. So I opened it up a couple thou, but I don't want the last two and the last one to be too tight. So I may have to do a step in there and do the first two, a few thou bigger to compensate, and then have it step in and do the last two. So let's see, that one's acceptable. That one's too tight. I'll put it over here and see if I can't figure out how to yeah, and that's a little loose. It doesn't really matter though. It's looser than I'd really like it to be, but if I put that step in, I may be able to dial that in a bit better. Now when it gets down to the end here like that, I won't get it an inch and a half to hold, okay, because yeah, it's 1 5/8 roughly. But what I can do is I can bring it out to leave myself 3/8 of an inch, a little less than a half. Basically there's 2 pads on the jaws there. I'm going to give it a little extra snug, which is going to squeeze it in and distort it, but it shouldn't really matter. So then the way it's set up, I may get one that's oddball, or it may just face it off. But I'll get at least a couple more out of this instead of throwing away a chunk that size. Now when it's that short, I know I can't get it out the whole way, but there's 2 serrations in the jaws there, and I'll let it grab at least 2 of those. Give it a little extra tightening, which just deforms it a little bit, but then I can get 2, maybe 3 out of that. We'll see. Depends on exactly how much is there. I'm getting 2 out of it. So way back when I first started doing these on this machine, I talked about how this is, you know, like 1.455 and there should be 1.5 inch bore or something like that. So I don't know if I need to go in there and try to scrub that out. I'm missing some spindle bore there that this should slip into. But what I've been having to do is just, I need to cut these a little shorter, but I had like 5, maybe 6 sticks, you know, feet of it. I forget how many feet I bought. I think I bought 2 3-footers and cut them down to 1 foot each. And if I can't get that fixed, I just need to cut 2 inches off the end to make it a little easier, because once this cuts down to there, then it's a bit harder to try to get that pried out of there. Oh yeah. Alright, it's recording. Looks like it's still in focus. I needed a way to get rid of these burrs, and I can do it with my fingers. But then I came up with a way to do it with pliers. The pliers were leaving a little dent, so I put some Gorilla Tape on the jaws, and it adds a little grip without having to squeeze, and it keeps it from leaving the dent. So my 2 fingers underneath are to help keep this from rotating in the jaws, so I don't have to squeeze down so tight. Okay, that's all I'm doing there. You know, the thing to do would be to try to get sheet in 0.15 thick, and then just laser cut these dang things out. I might have to look into that on the next one. Alright, next check. I know that these would not go over So I got to figure out how to open that hole up. These are all ones that should, but I need to double check them because I was checking a lot of them, deburring them. I had to deburr them first before I could... Oh wow, that's not even close. There we go. I had to deburr them first in order to be able to do this. So now that I have the burrs off, I can go through and check them. And anything from, you know, fairly tight like that to loose is fine. If I have to do these again, I got to make 200 of them to go with the 50 sets I'm making. I never thought I'd sell all the first ones years ago, and I've gone through 2 or 3 batches of these things. I did 50 last time and they're all gone, and I want to say I did a batch of 50 before that too. I don't remember. So a bit tedious. If I do them again, I'd like to find a process that is a bit more predictable. I may do it to where I set up tools differently on the lathe so that the ID is chipped or something. Do it so I can do it on the lathe and possibly even do one at a time, and then I don't have to deal with any flexing or anything like that. That would be fine, plus there'd be less issue with the chip buildup because it would fall off each time one was made. I'm real pleased with the wall finish with that cutter and the chamfer with that polished insert. Well, I had a bunch here, handful, probably at least 20, that I needed to resize. And I found that I had a step drill that was sharp enough to actually do it. And so I'm using the same plier technique. Just walking it up on the 5/8 there, and I can slip that through. It's probably good. And in a lot of cases, the chamfer came out big enough with that other tool that I don't have to go back and re-chamfer the other side.